Have you ever stopped to think if humanity is truly prepared to face what's coming with climate change? Why do so many scientists warn about the risk of irreversible catastrophes, while part of society insists on downplaying the problem? Are we heading toward the greatest survival challenge in our history? By the year 2100, deadly heat waves, increasingly violent storms, prolonged droughts, and rising sea levels could radically transform the way we live. Imagine entire coastal cities submerged, agricultural areas turning into deserts, and millions of people forced to abandon their homes in search of refuge. Are we really ready to deal with mass migrations, food crises, and disputes over drinking water? Some argue that there is still time to slow down this scenario with global policies, clean energy, and lifestyle changes. But is the world willing to pay the price now to avoid a future collapse? Or will humanity only learn when the catastrophes are already inevitable? And you? Do you believe we will be able to reinvent our way of living to withstand a transforming planet? Or will we be remembered as the generation that knew the danger but chose to ignore it? If climate change cannot be completely avoided, the question is, how will we survive? There are already projects being discussed to transform cities into climate fortresses. Smart buildings, capable of resisting hurricanes and generating their own energy, could become the new urban standard. But will we be able to build entire metropolises adapted before the climate gets out of control? In agriculture, scientists already talk about genetically modified foods capable of withstanding extreme heat, lack of water, and even degraded soils. But is society prepared to accept this type of food as the basis of global nutrition? And if there's no choice, will we resist hunger without this genetic revolution? Another crucial point is water. Desalination technologies, recycling, and moisture capture from the air could be the key to supplying regions in water collapse. But who will have access to this water? Everyone, or only countries and elites who can afford to pay dearly for it? The big question is, will we be building collective solutions to ensure humanity's survival, or will each nation and power group think only of themselves, creating new divisions and conflicts? When we think about survival in the face of climate change, we don't always talk about innovation and progress. There is also the dark side of this journey. Many experts believe that by 2100, the world could experience a scenario of extreme inequality. While some nations will build smart cities, safe against the climate, others will be devastated by heat waves, droughts, and storms with no resources to respond. Will the future bring a new division between climate refugees and shielded societies? And how will we deal with millions, perhaps billions, of people forced to abandon their homes? The 21st century may witness the largest migratory movements in human history, driven not by wars, but by environmental collapse. Will we be prepared to receive these populations, or will we see an increase in conflicts over territory, water, and food? In addition, ethical dilemmas arise. To what extent will governments restrict freedoms in the name of collective survival? Surveillance technologies, mandatory rationing of resources, and even birth control could be justified as emergency measures. But would we be willing to give up fundamental rights just to continue existing as a species? After all, does survival mean only resisting the climate, or also ensuring that we don't lose our humanity in the process? Despite all the grim scenarios, the future is not written in stone. By 2100, humanity can choose which path to take in the face of climate change. If there is global cooperation, investments in science, and a real change in consumption habits, we could turn the crisis into an opportunity for reinvention. Imagine cities powered 100% by clean energy, revitalized oceans, and forests restored by automated reforestation technologies. Does it sound far-fetched? Maybe, but it's still possible. Another bet is that adversity itself may act as a trigger for evolution. Civilizations only advanced when they were challenged. Could climate chaos be the push that makes us take the next leap? Perhaps the suffering of the coming decades is the price we will have to pay to become a more resilient species, more united, and capable of respecting the planet. But there is also the risk of failure, and in that case, 2100 may be remembered not as the beginning of a new era, but as the point at which we wasted our last chance. The big question is, what are we willing to do now to decide which of these futures will be real? The choice is in our hands, to resist and reinvent ourselves, or to watch our own downfall.